Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Since I am one of the lucky owners of Awakened Abomination, and since Red Guardian Synergy actually makes Abomination quite fun, I figured I'm gonna take him for a spin in variant 2. So that's the extra large variant. This is quest 2.3 in particular, and we're gonna be making our way down through entire lane till the very boss, including the boss fight. Now I did have a small hiccup just before the boss fight where somebody called me and the recording cut out, so there's like a half fight missing, but we're gonna get to it when we get there. So first and foremost, let's just check out all of those beautiful poisons. When it comes to the synergy team explanation, I'm gonna leave it till after the gameplay bit of the video, because obviously we all know that Red Guardian gives that main kind of like spark in this whole thing being possible by letting Abominations apply poison as he's hitting the opponents, but we do have other synergies in play as well. It is worth mentioning that there are many different combinations and variations that you can use to boost up Abominations damage, but main one definitely is the Red Guardian one. So we saw that fight is over. The first fight is over already. That is a quite quick fight. There's like 30 something hits. So now we're gonna go in against Loki, who has quite high health pool, but obviously we also have class advantage. And we can see that 2 combos in, we have 6 furies, 7 poisons on this Loki at this point already, and he is absolutely leaking away. Keep in mind that this is a 6-star rank 1 champion. That's right. So basically a rank 4, 5-star equivalent, more or less. Slightly more attack, but power rate is considerably slower. But yeah, so here at this point I'm 26 hits in, he has like 12%. I don't remember if I go for level 2 to finish it up. No, I just wanted to watch him poison out, I guess. So we're gonna go to far left path, which is Crumbling Armor, which is kind of like a relatively simple path, and there were no poison immune champions along the way, so you don't have to switch in between champions. And yeah, so next up, Psylocke, and these champions have well over 100k health, and that means that Abomination is dealing 100k plus damage in about 30 hits or so, which is quite all right at an increase. Obviously, I wouldn't go as far to say that that is like the most insane damage output that anybody has ever seen. However, considering that this is Abomination, who was literally all but absolutely worthless up until Red Guardian Synergy came out, it is a definitely significant increase in his fighting prowess, I would say. And here, even a solid nearly 18k crit on level 2. That level 2 was hitting for like 26k, I believe, or something like that, 28. So 26, yes, I think. Something like 25, 26k, so not too bad. Now we're going to be going up against Hood again. I expect another 30 or so hit fight. So for those of you who do not know, the Red Guardian Synergy basically gives Abomination 50% chance to place a poison debuff on the opponent for 70% of Abomination's modified attack. So when you boost, all of these poisons are gonna go up. When you have any other attack increases via synergies or nodes or whatever, that poison damage will increase exponentially as well. So that is kind of like the coolest thing, that it's actually working off Abomination's modified attack. And at this point now, as I slipped below 50% health, I do have a single point in Courage Mastery, so my damage is gonna go up even higher by 10%. And here I get ambushed by a very big yellow jacket. So I just checked, and this guy has 165k health. So we're gonna see how long does it take for us to take this guy down as well. And yeah, at this point again, already 6 poison debuffs. It's so satisfying. I don't think it's always satisfying when you see these like bleed and poison debuffs, and obviously incinerate and shock to a degree as well. But I think there's just something very pleasant about the idea of all of these kind of like bleed and poison stacks on opponent, and then their health practically kind of like leaking out from the health bar. And here we can see that 39 hits, a full perfect Sly level 1 evade up close. That's right, we wanted to show off a bit, and we evaded Yellow Jacket's level 1 from point blank range, which is quite a tricky thing to do, to be fair, and it's definitely not something I typically tend to do or rely on doing. It just because I made a mistake, and then I was just going in Jesus take the wheel kind of mode. But yeah, anyway, so back up to the next fight. So now we have Vulture. Now Vulture can be occasionally tricky with his miss mechanic if you kind of like go for an intercept, but hey, in this case everything's working out. For a moment there we have 10 poison stacks, and that poison damage is putting in some solid work. Now we're back up to 7. I'm dropping a level 2 again, crits for 15k plus, and he's pretty much done instantly. Over 32 hits and a variant strength opponent goes down like it's nobody's business. Obviously due to suicides and due to the fact that I do not run any coagulate whatsoever, I do need to add in a bit more health to Abomination, but that's not like a big deal, just purely down to suicides. But in this case, obviously the huge attack increase is well worth it, not to mention the additional benefit of having that bleed. Thus I immediately get an extra poison placed on opponent at the very beginning of the fight. And there is another thing, Moleman synergy, where the suicide bleed is benefiting me greatly, which I'm going to explain a bit later. But yeah, so again, now even with class disadvantage in this matchup, you can see 25 hits in class disadvantage, and Nitrasher is also a quite tanky champion for sure. And yeah, 30 hits, dropping my level 2 at this one crit again. I'm getting quite lucky with my crits, I must admit. But yeah, so here we go, 2%, and there's gonna be like one more hit. So 33 hits against Nitrasher with class disadvantage. That is certainly quite enjoyable. Definitely really enjoyable considering how bad Abomination was pre-synergy. And in all honesty, I think the ability to apply a lot of poisons on opponent whilst fighting should kind of be Abomination's ability by default. Like, it's a very sad state of affairs when this synergy was necessary to begin with, in my opinion. This is just an ability that Abomination should have. So here we can see that the fight cut off. I must apologize for that. It just, yeah, I got a phone call, so the recording stopped and I cut off the bit where, yeah, basically we are at the boss fight now, and that is what matters. And this boss has 265 health, 265k health, so it's effectively about half of Realm of Legends opponent, but he also obviously has Aspect of Evolution, so it's going to be harder and harder for me to crit, which in this case isn't really a big issue for Abomination because vast majority of the damage is coming from the poisons and damage over time effects, so that is definitely super beneficial. But still a very solid display of kind of like poisoning prowess, I guess I would say. And this yellow jacket has increased power gain, which in this case I actually kind of prefer because it's very easy to kind of control the fight. And that's the thing, I actually prefer when opponents do gain power slightly faster. Obviously when it goes to 200% or 300% increased power gain, then it's a bit too much, but like 50% or 100% increased power gain for opponents is something I typically actually prefer, because then it's easier to push them to my desired special attacks and just kind of keep in decent rotation. Here I opt to go for a level 2. Obviously it doesn't crit due to Aspect of Evolution. Still have a couple of poisons active there, no worries. How 70 hits, 72 hits in, and he is pretty much down. So not a bad showing for Abomination at all here. And yeah, so that is it for the gameplay bit in today's video. But before we finish, I'm going to quickly go over the synergies that I am using in this team to kind of like clarify and explain for those who may be not aware of everything. So first and foremost, obviously, is the red Guardian synergy that allows him to place poison debuffs on opponent when he's striking the opponent based on modified attack. Then we have Modok synergy, which increases Abomination's poison damage by 50%, which is again also super useful. And then we have Moleman. And Moleman synergy is actually somewhat broken, but it works with some things and it doesn't with some others. Basically, whenever Abomination gets a debuff, I should be getting a Fury buff that's increasing my attack for 50% for 12 seconds. But then I tested it with like long distance relationship and a couple of other nodes, and there was no Fury buff to be seen, because initially I wanted to see if I can stack these Furies, and B, if I can at least maintain them consistently. But none of the Fury buffs actually procced, so I think that is a bug. But anyways, the last member of the team is just like Hulk purely for the crit rate synergy, and obviously Abomination has attack synergy with Hulk, but you can use pretty much whoever you want. There are obviously some other options and variations of champions and synergies that you can use, but that is it for today's video. And whilst you are watching the picture of cute and adorable baby Yoda, do not forget to go and hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, leave a comment, let me know what kind of footage you would like to see with Abomination, perhaps specifically, or how you like this Red Guardian synergy, or just how you're doing today. Anyways, I'll catch you guys soon. See ya.